Think you can make it to the top all by yourself? Yeah, think again. Keith Ferrazzi's landmark book, Never Eat Alone, completely shatters this whole myth of the self-made man or woman. It turns out, rugged individualism is out, and community and alliances, they are very much in.
Right, so if it's not about doing it completely alone, what's the real secret here? Is it just, going to awful networking events and collecting a bunch of business cards? Because I'm pretty sure I have a drawer full of those doing absolutely nothing for me.
Oh, definitely not about collecting business cards, Sam. Let's dive into this, because it's actually all about social capital. Ferrazzi argues that your network literally is your destiny. Science and social contagion theory have actually validated this exact formula. Success in life equals the people you meet plus what you create together. So today we're going to break down the actual step-by-step blueprint for building a world-class network that fuels both your career and your personal life.
And here is our playbook for today's explainer. We'll be hitting 1, the networking myth, 2, master the mindset, 3, build the skill set, 4, connections into compatriots, 5, tapping the digital age, and finally, 6, build your legacy.
All right, let's jump right into section 2, master the mindset. Okay, I do love a good playbook, but Alex, what if I'm literally starting from zero? Like, what if I'm not already connected and I don't have a wealthy family or some fancy Ivy League pedigree? Where in the world do we even begin?
Well, it all starts right here with your mindset. Ferrazzi realized pretty early on that poverty isn't just a lack of financial resources, it's actually isolation from the kind of people who can help you make more of yourself. And the ultimate key to breaking into the club? It's just one word, generosity. You've got to stop keeping score. Look, it's not some transactional zero-sum game. True connecting means dropping that scorecard entirely and figuring out how you can share your knowledge, your resources, and your time to help others first.
But of course, generosity needs a little direction, right? You have to build your network before you actually need it. To do that, Ferrazzi introduces what he calls the Relationship Action Plan, or the RAP. You literally sit down and write out your 3-year goals, your 1-year goals, and your 90-day goals. Then you list the actual flesh and blood people who can help you achieve them. You need to have the audacity to put your intentions on paper. And once you identify these key connectors, your mission is simple. Find a way to lead with generosity in their lives. Moving on to section 3, build the skill set. Okay, so I have my plan, I know exactly who I need to talk to. Now how do I actually execute this? Because honestly, the whole idea of cold calling these super important people feels like a total nightmare.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, cold calls are for suckers. Ferrazzi says he never calls cold. You've got to turn it into a highly effective warm call. How? Well, you dropped off a reference. You find a mutual acquaintance, an institution, or even just a shared interest to establish instant credibility. When you do reach out, state your value proposition immediately, make the meeting highly convenient for them, and always leave a little room to compromise.
I love that approach. And once you actually do make contact, there's this really blunt, incredible quote from the book, "Follow up or fail." Ferrazzi makes the point that simply having good follow-up puts you ahead of basically 95% of your peers out there.
Exactly, because making sure a new acquaintance actually remembers your name is an active process. You absolutely must follow up within 12 to 24 hours after meeting them. Just express your gratitude, cite a specific joke or maybe a shared interest from your conversation so they instantly remember you, and reaffirm any commitments you guys make. Keep it brief and to the point. And hey, remember the primary rule of the book's title? Never eat alone. Every breakfast, lunch, or coffee is a vital opportunity to connect, share your passions, and follow up.
Which brings us to section 4, connections into compatriots. All right, so we're warming up these calls, we're having lunch, we're doing our follow-ups within 24 hours. How do we take those basic contacts and actually transition them into deeply loyal compatriots?
Well, once you have those connections, you start using social arbitrage. See, real power comes from being indispensable. And you become indispensable by acting like a human switchboard. You parcel out knowledge, contacts, and goodwill to as many people as possible. If you hear someone has a problem, you immediately search your network to find the person with the solution. You're bringing together people from entirely different worlds, and that makes you an invaluable knowledge broker.
So the crucial point here is, if you really want to engender life-bonding loyalty, you need to focus your help on the things that matter most to people. Drawing a bit from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the book identifies 3 fundamental pillars: the person's health, their personal wealth, and their children. When you sincerely help someone through a tough health issue, positively impact their career, or take a genuine interest in the success of their kids, you create an almost unbreakable emotional bond.
Wow, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But the book also talks about pinging all the time. How are we supposed to balance constantly staying in touch without becoming, incredibly annoying.
Ah, that is beautifully solved in Section 5, Tapping the Digital Age. Right, especially as we pivot to the digital age and social media. I mean, is digital networking really just about collecting shallow likes and broadcasting to absolutely no one? Or is there a strategic way to ping?
Oh, it is incredibly strategic. In the digital age, you really have to tap into the fringe. This is the broad periphery of your network, your weak ties. While you obviously still need your core, intimate relationships, the fringe is where the real innovation, new ideas, and unexpected opportunities live. Social media basically allows you to create a serendipity-generating petri dish. You become a sensor for new trends. You curate your feed to bring you tailored information, and then you share all that value right back out.
To scale your generosity, you must become the king of content. And no, that's not about stalking celebrities online. It's about sharing tailored, valuable content that actively builds trust. When you offer real transparency, candor, and genuine value through your digital channels, you aren't spamming anyone. You're nurturing a massive, scaled network that keeps you top of mind. You are being interesting and giving people a real reason to want to connect with you.
Which finally brings us to Section 6, Build Your Legacy. This really brings the whole playbook home. We've gone from the mindset to the skill set, built compatriots, and figured out how to scale it online. But Alex, what is the ultimate goal of all this connecting and social capital? Actually, I think this quote sums it up perfectly. Find mentors, find mentees, repeat. It seems like true networking isn't just about taking. It's this continuous cyclical process of mentoring, trading up, and constantly giving back.
Absolutely, Sam. It's really about being the best for the world, not just the best in the world. Ferrazzi uses this incredibly powerful metaphor. He says life isn't some solitary quest. It's a beautifully stitched quilt. Young lovers might seek perfection, but old lovers sew shreds together and see the true beauty in the multiplicity of patches. Every single relationship you stitch into your life makes your overall quilt stronger, more vibrant, and so much more beautiful.
I love that imagery. So, I want to ask everyone watching right now, directly, what is your next move? Who are you having lunch with tomorrow? Because your network is exactly like a muscle. The more you work it, the bigger it gets.
Hit the nail on the head. If you wait until you desperately need a job or a massive favor to start connecting, it is way too late. Dig your well before you're thirsty. Apply this playbook, reach out with true audacity and generosity, and start today. Thank you so much for joining us on this explainer. Keep building those connections, and we will see you next time.